Dizzy the Duck's Zoo Adventure. Once upon a time, in a colorful and bustling zoo, there was a cheerful and curious little duck named Dizzy. Dizzy lived in a large pond in the zoo's waterfowl exhibit, and it was a pretty great place to call home. There were tall reeds to hide in, lily pads to rest on, and plenty of fellow feathered friends to quack with. Dizzy had a special spot by the edge of the pond where the children who visited the zoo loved to stand and watch. Dizzy would paddle around, her bright feathers glistening in the sunlight, and her webbed feet creating tiny ripples in the water. The children would laugh and clap, and Dizzy loved every moment of it. But despite the pond's beauty and the attention she received, Dizzy often felt a little restless. She couldn't help but wonder about the world beyond her pond. What was life like outside the zoo? One sunny morning, as the zookeeper was feeding the animals, a colorful butterfly fluttered by Dizzy. It landed on her bill and then took off again, dancing on the breeze. Dizzy watched it in awe, her eyes following the butterfly as it disappeared behind the zoo's tall walls. As the butterfly vanished from sight, Dizzy's heart soared with curiosity. She knew it was time to explore the world beyond the zoo. With a determined quack, she paddled towards the edge of the pond, hopped out, and waddled towards the zoo's exit. As she approached the exit, Dizzy spotted her friend, a wise old turtle named Terry, who had seen many zoo ducks come and go. Terry crawled up to Dizzy and said, "Where do you think you're going, Dizzy?" Dizzy replied with excitement, "I want to see the world outside the zoo, Terry. I've always wondered what's out there." Terry nodded slowly, his wrinkled neck retracting into his shell. "Well, you're brave, Dizzy. Just remember to stay safe and come back if you ever miss us." With Terry's blessing, Dizzy waddled out of the zoo and into the wide world beyond. She found herself in a busy city with towering buildings and honking cars. Dizzy felt both thrilled and a little overwhelmed. She spotted a nearby park and decided to explore it. As she entered, a group of children playing by the pond noticed her and cheered. Dizzy felt right at home as she swam around, quacking and delighting the children. Dizzy made friends with a kind girl named Emma, who was visiting the park with her family. Emma shared her sandwich with Dizzy, and they spent hours playing together by the pond. Dizzy couldn't help but feel grateful for her new friend and the adventures that lay ahead. The sun began to set, casting a warm, golden glow over the park, and Dizzy knew it was time to return to the zoo. She had had a marvelous day, and she missed her fellow ducks and Terry, the wise old turtle. When Dizzy arrived back at the zoo, Terry greeted her with a smile and said, "Welcome home, Dizzy. Did you have a grand adventure?" Dizzy nodded enthusiastically, "Yes, Terry, and I made a wonderful new friend named Emma. But there's no place like our zoo, and you, Terry, are irreplaceable." As time went by, Dizzy would occasionally venture out into the city and return to the zoo, always greeted with warmth and joy by her animal friends. Each adventure helped her appreciate her home even more. One summer day, a surprising event took place at the zoo. The zookeeper received a call from the Animal Rescue Center about a family of lost ducklings in need of a temporary home. Dizzy was more than happy to help, and she eagerly adopted the role of a mother duck. The little ducklings were adorable, with their soft, fluffy down and tiny quacks. Dizzy watched over them, teaching them how to paddle in the pond, forage for insects, and waddle on land. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that she was helping these little ones find their way in the world. The visitors to the zoo adored the sweet ducklings, and the zookeeper even built a small enclosure for them by the pond. It was a heartwarming sight to see Dizzy and her adopted ducklings, happily swimming together, quacking merrily, and creating lasting memories. As time passed, the ducklings grew and were eventually ready to venture out into the world on their own. Dizzy watched proudly as they paddled away to explore the world, just as she had done. Dizzy's adventures continued, but she never strayed too far from the zoo. She learned that while there was a wide world out there, her home and her animal friends were priceless. The zoo had become a place of comfort and belonging, a true home. The end.